All right, guys, this is the relearning for Unit 6, Weekly Check 2. First thing we're going to look at is setting up and solving equations for word problems. The biggest thing with word problems is trying to figure out if you need groups like parentheses or not. And some important words to look for are each, and thinking about if something is happening each time or only one. So I'm going to read this first one. We'll try and figure out what it is. It says, Myra and her scout troop are heading to the Zoomzilla zipline course. They plan to purchase the group package, which will be $572 for 13 people. That's $4 less per person than the normal cost for an individual. It says, how much is the normal cost for an individual? So that's what we don't know. That's going to be our X. And then it's usually pretty easy to find your total, what the equation is going to equal. So it equals $572. One strategy that's been helpful for kiddos right now is understanding that if your total means money, then your other things also have to mean money. It's especially helpful when the equations don't have parentheses. But when they do, you can also use this strategy. So I'm seeing 13 people, $4. So what that tells me is that 4 is going to be by itself, because it's just money. It doesn't have to be multiplied by anything, but it's going to be by itself to go into the total of $572. Now, this one, what I'm seeing to help me out here is that I see 13 people, and because it's a group package, they're getting $4 less per person. So the $4 is each person gets that discount. It's not like they pay for 13 people and then they get $4 off. That's not much of a discount. Each person is getting the $4 off. So the normal cost for an individual would be our X, and they're getting to subtract 4. Now, the question here, or the reasoning here, is understanding that $4 is being subtracted for each person. So the 13 has to be multiplied by the cost and the minus 4, and that's what creates the parentheses. Because if it wasn't parentheses, it would say, and they get a $4 discount, not $4 per person or each person. So once you have your equation set up, then you are going to multiply. You're going to multiply and you'll get 13x, and then 13 times 4 is 52. And then you get 572. You're going to add your 52. And you'll get 13x, and then 572 plus 52 is 624. Divide by your 13. So x would be 48. All right. Let's see. Try and get a better one here. Maybe I can go here. Okay, let's look at this one. So it says Jacob took a taxi from his house to the airport. The taxi company charged him a pickup fee of $1.30 plus $5 per mile. The total fare was $16.30, not including the tip. Write and solve an equation which can be used to determine X, the number of miles in the taxi ride. All right, so this one is not parentheses. And the reason it's not parentheses is because you have a one-time fee for pickup and you're charged 5 cents per mile. So it's not 5 per mile and 130 or $1.30 per mile. The 130 is a one-time fee. So your total fare is $16.30. So we know it's going to equal $16.30. And then again, if the total is money, then the other two things have to be money. And I know it's kind of tricky because you've got $1.30 and $5, but it's $5 per mile. So we don't know how much money that is because we don't know how many miles. We do know that the 130 is going to be by itself because that's just a one-time fee. It doesn't have to be multiplied by anything. As soon as you get picked up, you're going to have to pay $1.30. And then the 5 per mile is going to be with the X because we don't know how many miles to know how much money that is. So that's kind of your unknown cost. And then you're just going to solve it. So the $16.30, $1.30 of that was just getting picked up. So you're subtracting the $1.30 fee to get $15. And then you have your 5X left. You'll divide by 5. So X would be 3. So your equation will go here. And then your answer would be 3. I already took them. Alrighty. And then real quick, we'll look at distributing and combining like terms. Alright, so I'm just going to put it all into one problem. So this one is going to have distributing and combining like terms. So this 10y is not on anything. It's going to come down here by itself. We're not doing anything. And then that -6 is going to be distributed to both of the terms on the inside of parentheses. So we have a -6 times a -5y. Dorito Man, two negatives are going to make a positive. So that's going to turn into positive 30y. And then -6 times positive 2 is a -12, so -12. And then you are going to put together what goes together. So we have a 10y and a positive 30y, and then a -12. So the two things that are like, which we call like terms, we are going to put together. So 10y plus 30y would be 40y. And then there's no other boxes. So you just bring that -12 down. I'm done.